At 15:15 hours, April 30, 1945, Soviet artillery is less than 500 meters away. The bunker ceiling is 8 meters underground. Fuel reserves in Berlin, effectively zero. German troops still alive in the city, fewer than 45,000. Enemy troops surrounding them, over 1.5 million. A decision must be made in minutes. The rule is clear. A Führer does not surrender. A head of state is supposed to flee, negotiate, or be captured. That rule is about to be broken. The concrete shakes again. Dust falls from the ceiling. Maps on the table are obsolete. Every arrow points inward. The Battle of Berlin is already lost. By late April 1945, the war has collapsed faster than German doctrine ever allowed for. The Red Army has crossed the Oder. The Americans are on the Elbe. The Luftwaffe no longer exists as a fighting force. German industry is shattered. Rail lines are cut. Communications fail hourly. Standard German tactics depend on mobility, layered defense, and operational depth. None of those exist anymore. Berlin is a pocket with no maneuver room. Every unit is under direct fire. Orders issued in the morning are irrelevant by evening. The Nazi system was never designed for defeat. It was designed for expansion or destruction. When expansion failed, only destruction remained. Inside the Führer bunker, beneath the Reich Chancellery, Adolf Hitler receives situation reports that contradict one another. Divisions that exist on paper have no men. Counterattacks ordered at dawn never materialize. Commanders stop responding. At this point, the war is no longer about Germany. It is about the man at the center of it. Adolf Hitler is 56 years old, physically deteriorated. His left hand trembles uncontrollably. His gait is unstable. Witnesses describe him as aged beyond recognition. The image of authority survives only in photographs and memory. But this is not panic. This is calculation. Hitler's entire political identity is built on a single premise, that he is the embodiment of the German state, not its leader, its physical symbol. The regime taught this relentlessly. The state does not outlive the Führer, it ends with him. His past explains this thinking. In 1918, Hitler experienced defeat as humiliation. Germany surrendered while its armies still stood. The myth of betrayal, of politicians and civilians stabbing the army in the back, became foundational to his worldview. Surrender was not strategic failure, it was moral collapse. He vowed that this would never happen again. Now, in April 1945, surrender is the rational choice. Militarily, it is obvious. Berlin cannot be held. Civilian casualties are catastrophic. Every additional day means thousands more dead. Doctrine says preserve leadership, preserve continuity, preserve the possibility of negotiation. Logic, however, points elsewhere. Hitler understands that surrender means something specific for him. Public trial, public exposure, the destruction of the myth he built. He has already seen what happened to Mussolini, executed and displayed by Italian partisans on April 28, 1945. Photographs reached Berlin within days. Captured alive, Hitler becomes a spectacle, a living refutation of everything he claimed to be. For him, that outcome is unacceptable. The choice is stark. Retreat is impossible. Escape is unlikely. Negotiation contradicts everything he represents. Doctrine says leaders endure captivity to protect their people. Hitler believes his death protects the idea, so he chooses an option that should not work politically. He removes himself. At approximately 15:30, Hitler retreats into his private room with Eva Braun, whom he married the day before. Cyanide capsules are tested on the family dog to confirm effectiveness. No speeches are given. No final address to the nation. A single gunshot follows. The method is deliberate, poison and a pistol. Redundancy, he does not leave survival to chance. This act is not emotional, it is controlled. He has already dictated his political testament, assigning blame and naming successors who will not matter. He orders his body burned to prevent capture and display. From a strategic standpoint, suicide should achieve nothing. The city will fall regardless. The regime will collapse regardless. The war will end regardless. But psychologically, it works exactly as intended. The immediate effect inside the bunker is paralysis. No one assumes command with authority. Grand Admiral Dönitz is named successor, but he is hundreds of kilometers away and commands no forces capable of changing events. Within hours, German resistance in Berlin loses cohesion. Units fight on briefly, then disintegrate. On May 2, the city formally surrenders. More importantly, Hitler's death denies the Allies a living symbol. There is no trial, no testimony, no moment where he must answer questions. The regime collapses without a central figure to interrogate. This shapes the post-war world. Without Hitler on trial, responsibility diffuses. Blame spreads across institutions, generals, bureaucrats, and ideology. The Nuremberg trials prosecute systems, not the man who created them. His absence leaves a vacuum that myth quickly fills. Some portray him as coward, others as fanatic. Few understand the logic. Those who witnessed the final days describe an eerie calm, no dramatic last stand, no collapse into hysteria. Hitler withdraws, issues fewer orders, and accepts physical isolation. The sustained pressure never lets up. Artillery continues day and night. Oxygen is scarce. Electricity fails intermittently. Food supplies dwindle to rations measured in hours. No relief force comes. By the time Soviet troops reach the Reich Chancellery, the war is effectively over. The bunker is a tomb. The bodies are gone. The symbol has vanished. In the long term, this single act changes how history interprets the war's end. There is no confession, no final justification, no explicit admission of failure. Hitler controls his final narrative by removing himself from it. This forces historians to reconstruct motives rather than hear them spoken. It turns analysis inward, toward ideology, structure, and collective responsibility. His death does not absolve him, but it complicates closure. The lesson is not about suicide or fanaticism. It is about how power behaves when stripped of options. When rules no longer apply, leaders reveal what they were protecting all along. In Berlin, on April 30, 1945, Adolf Hitler chose not to survive the defeat he created. Not because he was defeated, but because survival would have meant surrendering control.